welcome back to my channel. My name is Matt. Now that we've got some of the more boring things out of the way, hopefully I can sound like I'm a little bit more excited about what I'm doing. So for the next video, I thought I would show you the tools that I'll be using. Obviously, everybody, we need dice, got a notebook. When you're doing solo, I guess it's the same way for a game around a table with friends, but keeping track of things in the game, because it's all you, it's just you, I find keeping some notes to be useful, to keep track of different things that happen in the game, to keep NPCs straight and things like that. I use a method that's similar to bullet journaling. If you Google that, you'll learn there's a whole rabbit hole of crap you can do with that too. But I use a method that's similar to that I've just kind of tweaked for myself. Other things that I use, I'm going to just go through them very quickly. You can look them up if you're interested. I use Whitebox for my game system. The reason I use Whitebox is it's not like Ambitions and Avarice, which is about 450 pages long, I think it is. Anyway, this is about 140 pages. All the rules are in here. Everything that you could ever possibly do, classes, equipment, adventuring, spells, monsters, random tables, magic items, everything is in there. I don't need to go looking anywhere else for stuff. It's all right there for me. Another thing that I really like to use is a book called Perilous Wilds. The reason I like this book is it has some fantastic random tables in it. I tend to use these as points of inspiration so that it will get my gears running in my creativity. And it has some really great tables that you can start. It's got some more random tables in the beginning, but I don't use those. I usually start with this, and this allows me to randomly encounter a location or creature and drill down and get more and more detail. So you can start out with very simple things. You know, it's a distorted burial ground or burrow, or it's a hot spring, landmark. There's evidence, there's tracks, there's bones, there's corpses, and then you can get down to the structures, but you can continue. It's also got steadings and villages and forts, but you can drill down and you can create actual monsters on the fly. I think it's great. It's really fantastic. And you can also get down into really detailed aspects of an encounter, location, or monster, making each one unique as you go. I don't always use these, but when I'm feeling like I really want to get a little bit more detail, I will pull from this. There's also this great NPC table that you can really get a lot of detail. And for those dice nerds out there, it uses the D12, which you don't really see a lot of things use. I know there's some people out there like, the D12 doesn't get enough love. There you go. So anyway, I like that. It really is a pretty cool book. And I've also used this one as well. This is sort of a companion book to this. It's Freebooters on the Frontier. And it has a quick way that you can generate either a PC or a NPC. It's got some names. It's got this. This is actually one of my more favorite tables to use. It's got a quick appearance table so you can get interesting, unique aspects for each NPC. And this is actually one of my favorite tables I've ever encountered in gaming. It's a trait table, but it divides it up into virtues and vices. And with that, I like this so much better than an alignment table, because this really gives you, if you get two things, what immediately springs to mind when looking at that, and really kind of builds a character with just two roles. I really like it. So I tend not to use it a lot because it can really get a lot of details and bog you down. But when you really want to, it really does help. So I like those books a lot. Obviously, Whitebox is an easy game. I made my own little sort of character cards. These are 4x6 cards cut in half. Gives me all the information that I need for a character. I'm just going to say this. It's an OSR game. Blokes are going to die. You're going to need a lot of those. Let's go over this one. This is actually one of my real favorite tools I've ever purchased. This is Axebane's deck of mini dungeons, and this is by far one of the coolest tools that I've ever found. So these are cards that what you can do is you can lay them out and you can build really cool dungeons really quickly. You can keep building them out. What you do basically is you find a card that starts with a dungeon like this, or stairs going down, I'm sorry, to a dungeon. And then each card has interesting aspects of what takes place on that card. So here we have random contents for what might be in that hallway, which, I mean, how many times do you ever wander down a hallway as a player and been like, you know, what's in the hallway? And your DM just ignores you because that's like little details that no one ever adds in. Anyway, then you've got traps. It also has some details about like a lock. Traps are identified by this little tiny icon. It looks like sharp. Actually kind of reminds me of that trap they used in Vietnam where you would step on it and blades would come up through your foot. Reminds me of that. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, then they've got little details. This one's got some treasure. This one has actual treasures that you can find in the room. This one actually has a quest, or you can drop stairs that'll go down to the next level. But some of the cards actually have monsters in there, which is really cool because you literally could play with just that and that. You could just play your game with that. I mean, and there's some magic pools. Here's a quest idea. So like as you're coming in there, why are they in here? Well, they just roll a d20 and it'll tell you what there is. Another card with monsters on it. Some more hallway contents. This one's got some treasure. This one's got some smells and also a trap. But you can really build, by connecting them, you can really build massive dungeons. And I really like this. It's also got some cards. Dang it, I gotta find them real quick here. I should have stacked this deck prior, eh? That'd be planning. It's got a couple cards in it, which now I just can't seem to find, that have additional tables that you can use. Well, we're just going to go with that one there. So it's got a random trap generator. You just can roll really quick. And the cool thing about it is by using this one card, you could actually roll D12 4 times that out. Rob, do some math. You know I can't do math. You can do that multiple times, dozens of times, and never get the same trap. It might be the same type of trap, but disarming it or how hard it is to spot is different. What's the trigger? What's the damage? Every time it's different. On the other one, a random quest generator. There's another one in here for treasure, and there's another one in here for NPCs, which I just can't seem to. There's the instruction card. I just can't seem to find at the moment because I didn't plan. Somebody's going to tell me you should always plan your YouTube videos. Well, this is not that kind of channel. All right, so let me push that stuff out of the way. I'll clean it up later. This is another one that I've just recently got, and I think it's pretty cool. I'm not sure how cool because it's actually quite expensive. I think it was $40 on Amazon, and it is neat. Don't get me wrong, and I think it could really help you out if you were in a jam and just stuck. But I'm not sure it's worth the amount of money that I paid for it. So it comes with 3 decks. One deck is a sensory deck. And I'll just throw a couple of these cards down here so you can see. They give you quick little unique sensory things, smells, things that happen, things that you can see, smell, feel, to add depth to your environment. It's kind of neat. It isn't a solo specific thing, but it's kind of neat. It also comes with, I believe there's 40 NPC cards, and these all have pretty neat little pictures. So if you need a quick NPC, you could just pull one of these up. It's got some really whacked out ones. What is that? Dragon folk. Yeah, whatever. Not my game. But it's got some pretty good ones. Looks like some sort of orc, some sort of alien or demon, half demon. Good Norse looking dude. Some demons. Yeah, it's got some normal stuff too. But then on the back, so you got these pretty good pictures, but on the back it's got a little bit of, I'll throw a couple of these down if you really want to try to pause the video and read them. It's got a spot for personality, quirk, flaw, goal, and secret, with just like a quick sentence or two to tell you what makes that NPC tick. So it's kind of neat. Like I said, I don't know if that is worth the money. I think that would be great for a DM that is doing a lot of improv and trying to make interesting and memorable NPCs for their characters to bump into. And this the third deck that's in here is kind of neat. It's got cards that they're labeled at the top with this ORC, orc. Kind of weird how that worked out, huh? And the cards that are darker with the O, those are opening actions, and those are kind of what I would call quest triggers, something that you could use as something to get a quest going. And then they also have rising actions, which are kind of the next step of what could happen, or something more in the middle of the story that could kind of divert the story, make it go in a different direction. And then the climatic actions. And those are ones that will work to kind of put a end chapter on your adventure. And it's kind of neat. And then they have a couple questions at the bottom to kind of help you get your creativity flowing. I think you could draw one of these and get a quest for the night and get running immediately. I think it could work really good. Like I said, I'm not sure this is totally worth the amount of money it ended up costing, but it is kind of neat. So those are kind of the basic rules, or tools, I guess, really, that I use for my games to kind of get my solo game kind of going and getting it off the ground and get it running. So I hope that kind of shows you some of the things I do. Joe, I hope I wasn't so sleepy this time. I heard that I was a little bit boring. Hopefully this time I sound like I'm a little bit more interested in what I'm doing. These are the kind of tools that I use to get my game going, and I'll see you in the next video.